High above the swirling clouds of the Milky Way, nestled amongst constellations older than time, lived a tiny star named Aster. Aster wasn't the brightest or the biggest, but she possessed a warm, gentle light that comforted the smaller planets nearby. She knew her place was right there, beside the shimmering veil of the nebula of whispers, casting her soft glow upon the dusty rings of a quiet gas giant. Her light was a constant, a tiny beacon in the vast velvet darkness, part of a delicate, cosmic dance she understood perfectly. Night after night, she hummed a silent lullaby to the sleeping worlds below her, content in her purpose and her celestial home. One evening, during a particularly wild cosmic storm, a surge of unexpected energy, like a rogue wave in the ocean of space, crashed through Aster's quiet corner. It wasn't a gentle nudge. It was a violent, disorienting blow that ripped her from her familiar orbit, tumbling head over heels, blinded by streaks of chaotic light and deafened by the roar of displaced ether. Aster felt her very essence shudder when the chaos finally subsided, the spinning stopped, and she found herself hanging utterly alone in a patch of sky. She didn't recognize the comforting shapes of her constellations were gone. The nebula of whispers was nowhere to be seen. Panic, cold and sharp, flooded her core. Where was she? More terrifyingly, where did she belong? The memory of her home, her place beside the gas giant, had been utterly erased by the shock. Instead of the familiar, comforting darkness dotted with distant starlight, Aster looked down upon a world covered in strange, hard surfaces reflecting harsh, unnatural glows. Below her stretched a landscape of clustered boxes humans called houses, crisscrossed by ribbons of gray stone they called roads, lit by glaring yellow orbs on tall poles. The sheer noise rising from this place was overwhelming. A constant rumble of engines, sharp honks, and a low, pervasive hum that vibrated through her light. The deep, resonant silence of space was replaced by a cacophony that felt invasive and wrong. She felt exposed, alien, and profoundly unwelcome amidst this chaotic, earthbound sprawl. This wasn't her sky. This felt like a prison of sound and light, driven by a desperate loneliness and the fading hope of finding something familiar. Aster tried to mimic the lights below. She pulsed brighter, mimicking the harsh streetlights, hoping someone might notice her difference and offer a clue. Instead, her unusual flickering only caused confusion. People below shielded their eyes, muttered about faulty bulbs or strange reflections, and hurried past. She tried dimming herself to match the softer lights inside windows, but her starlight essence couldn't replicate the steady, warm glow of a lamp. It always held a cooler, more ethereal quality. Each attempt to fit in, to belong in this alien environment, ended in failure and deepened her sense of isolation. She was a celestial being utterly lost in a world built for terrestrial life. One exceptionally cold and clear winter night, when the air was still and frost painted intricate patterns on every window pane, a small boy named Leo sat bundled by his attic window. He was feeling lonely himself, missing his grandmother who lived far away. Gazing upwards, seeking the comfort of the familiar constellations his grandmother had taught him, Leo spotted Aster. Her light wasn't steady like the others. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat, and shimmered with a unique, silvery blue hue unlike any star he knew. Instead of confusion, Leo felt a spark of wonder. "Hello, little star," he whispered into the chilly air, his breath making a small cloud. "You look lost. Are you sad too?" He felt a strange kinship with the tiny, flickering light. He fetched his small, cherished lantern, lit its candle, and held it up towards the window, a tiny, warm beacon reaching out into the vastness. "OK?" he murmured. Aster saw Leo's light. It was small, fragile, and flickering just like her own uncertain glow, yet it radiated an undeniable warmth. A human warmth she hadn't encountered before. It wasn't the harsh glare of the streetlights or the indifferent shine of the moon. It was a light offered freely, a gesture of pure kindness and connection. As Leo held his lantern steady, whispering quiet words of comfort he wished someone would say to him, something extraordinary happened deep within Aster. A memory, long buried by the cosmic storm, stirred. Not a picture, but a feeling, the profound, gentle warmth of belonging, the quiet comfort of her place beside the nebula of whispers, the soft light she cast on the gas giant's rings. It was the same warmth Leo offered now. Reflected in his small, brave lantern light, the forgotten feeling flooded back, filling her with a radiant certainty. Aster's light, which had been flickering weakly, suddenly blazed with a pure, brilliant silver-blue radiance, far brighter than Leo had ever seen. It wasn't harsh. It was beautiful, awe-inspiring, filling his small attic room with ethereal light. Leo gasped, his own loneliness momentarily forgotten in the face of this celestial wonder. Aster pulsed once. A silent, profound thank you beamed directly towards the boy and his little lantern. Then, propelled by the rediscovered memory of her true home, she began to ascend. Faster and faster she rose, leaving the noisy town and its cold lights far below. A streak of silver shooting upward, she navigated by the newly remembered feeling, past unfamiliar stars and swirling gases, drawn irresistibly towards a specific, comforting darkness. And then, she saw it. The shimmering, ethereal veil of the nebula of whispers, and the familiar, dusty rings of her gas giant waiting patiently. With a sigh of pure relief that shimmered across the void, Aster slotted perfectly back into her place. Her warm, gentle light steadied, once again bathing the rings in soft silver. A star who finally joyously remembered exactly where she belonged, carrying the memory of a boy's kindness like a tiny, warm ember within her eternal glow.